Immortals have invaded my realm, and my children rebel against me. Dark days these are. But my strength shall bring resolution, and my lightning, illumination! Zeus!
Bologna.
Anubis.
Scylla.
Kukulkan.
Satyr.
Hello and welcome back, SMITE fans. Are you tired of your friends coming over and laughing at your disgusting PC on the ground and the quality of the case, and having that one friend that takes a finger and goes, "Oh, how is it so dusty, man?" Well, I have a solution for you. The answer to your problems is Starforge PCs. I mean, first of all, look at it. You heard Zeus say the illumination, and you saw it pop up and look awesome. There's one in studio in Georgia that I couldn't stop looking at when I went, and if you grab it, you'll do the same thing. So grab yours today, starforgesystems.com/products/smite, and win your friend's trust back, one PC at a time. Malum and Goremizer still with you with more Swiss games to have. You like that one?
I was also going to present do the Starforge thing, but also you'll need this for the Star. Like, if dust is your problem, get some canned air, man. Just have it around. I cleaned out my PC yesterday. You should just be doing that.
I have this I have this way too overpowered blower that the first time I used it, I've got this this cute thing in my PC as a figure that gets illuminated, and I took the blower and it was on full blast. Oh, this won't be a problem. Everything flew around. My CPU cooler got loose. It was a whole thing. So make sure you keep that in check. Maybe go for the cans over the super powered blowers. But anyway, Swiss games, that's why we're here. We're not here to pitch canned air to you, that's for sure. So let's take a look at the bracket and what we've got going on. Earlier today, we saw Scrumptious play Mr. Play-by-Play, and it was a very surprising game. We've learned a lot about Mr. Play-by-Play and who they are as players, and definitely a team you've got to keep your eyes on going forward. But Scrumptious ended up getting the better. We still have one match to take a look at today in a best of 3, and that is Alec Hate Club versus Secret Service. We were going to look at Borscht and Fun Havers, but again, that was an FF for Fun Havers, and Borscht will take the W there. So Alec Hate Club, Secret Service, a few names you could possibly recognize from the two teams, certainly, but a lot of new faces to be had and to learn about, Gore, which I think that's been my favorite aspect of the Founder series so far, just as a whole anyway, personally speaking. So I'm kind of down for it regardless.
Yeah, no, again, there's something about really for Swiss in general, I don't think we can have a bad matchup. And admittedly, I say that with a field of 2-0s behind us, but
fair.
I just think that what we're looking for and realistically, what I'm expecting, is just a lot of just a lot of Smite, right? It's just going to be a lot of Smite. But it was a lot of teams that I think, are going to be adapting to each other and kind of growing as this entire Founder series goes along, growing alongside the game. And so it's just going to be fun to watch.
Well, let's not wait anymore. We got one more game. We got one more best of 3. Let's kick it right to the picks and bins and see what we've got. The Fenrirs, Bacchuses, the Odins of the world, and the Jingweis have fallen off a little bit. We definitely know what to expect for the bands, but for two teams who, when you look at those team rosters, as I mentioned, Gore, some names some people might be familiar with, but I imagine most people are looking and going, who Omega Lol? It does open up some room for some comfort picks and some strong picks to really shine out among what we're more accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, I'm also really not only is the draft phase going to be different, but I'm really curious what teams like this prioritize, right? Because there are times where, and we've seen this a lot, sometimes you'll find a team that you don't know as well, which I'm willing to admit, right? I didn't get a lot of opportunity to watch them during open bracket, so this is going to be chance number 2 maybe overall for either of these squads. But yeah, who they prioritize, and if you prioritize them, can you play them well as well, right? The Fenrir, I love this, right? Odin Susanoo band makes sense. Fenrir number 1, I like that Alec Hate Club go for it. I think he's flexible, he's versatile, he does a lot of damage, he brings exactly what you need to the table. And so I expect a lot from this pick. And it's that guarantee. Make sure that it is a worthwhile pick, right? You have to make sure that your first picks hit hard. And so I'm going to be looking towards the jungle specifically as someone that needs to perform a little heavier.
The mirror lock-in for Secret Service, followed by the Bacchus. So both of the of those CC heavy frontline characters we're becoming accustomed to seeing, and also being accustomed to seeing flex solo support grabbed up by Secret Service. Fenrir went to Alec Hate Club to start things out, and well, you got Aztec in solo, and while names, again, maybe you're unfamiliar with some, I'm very familiar with the names. And let me tell you, that is Aztec's usually a Nike one trick, essentially. So the Amaterasu has to be the panic pick in response, given the Godful. But that is a comfort pick for Aztec, and I expect that to be strong. But more interestingly, and somebody I want to call some attention to for sure, the Jingwei grab for Alec Hate Club. Speaking of comfort picks, a character that Thokman Jones, or Thok, is super, super familiar with and performs really well on. I've seen Thok actually play up into much higher skill brackets and tournaments, and a lot of it using that character, even in Smite 1, to a point where it definitely raises my eyebrow of, okay, gotta keep my eyes on that.
Barrier to me.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of man, I mean, what Ama's able to do and bring to the table, like, it can create some flair. It is something that makes me curious because, look, all right, now we're playing a game of metas, and we're having to explore parts of my mind I didn't know if we were going to today. Fenrir and Jingwei on one hand, who I weigh pretty heavily. Loki, Bacchus, Ymir on the other hand, that I weigh pretty heavily. I do like looking at it right now, especially depending on the play level of Hecate that we get. I am looking at Secret Service as being maybe a little bit stronger. Just draft-wise, the Ares can definitely stem a little bit of that. It mostly is going to control Bacchus, maybe the Neath if the Neath goes duo, where I'm assuming this time. Now, I will admit, the last time there was an Ama Ares frontline, I did assume wrong where they were going, but I will assume still that the Ares is going to go duo lane. So if that is a direct matchup against like the Neath, then you will find an opportunity to use it. I'm assuming Neath Ymir, so there's going to be a couple moments for it, but it's not quite as strong as when there was like a Susanoo, a Fenrir, things like that on the table. Still, really, really good frontline, and admittedly, something you might kind of be forced into, knowing that Bacchus and Ymir and Odin were all banned with the Ama already picked up, things like that. So, I'm really excited for those. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've seen an Anubis in the Founders series yet for me. So I love this. I love Anubis. I love playing Anubis. I love watching Anubis. Sometimes he doesn't do too good because he's really immobile, but he is still fun. And so this just makes me happy.
It makes me happy too. I'm a big fan of the Gooby Gooby Goob. A problem is though, the big one I'm seeing, level 100 Behemoth on the Fenrir most likely. A name you actually might be familiar with, Gore. Mr. Sneaky 4, I believe, is the AKA of that player. Fenrir can do a lot of damage to Anubis, and on top of that, Hecate, as you've talked about a lot today, she's somebody who she hangs out deep back in the mid lane, and she tosses abilities out to an Anubis who's having more problems with mobility. Hecate can kind of just shoot her bombs out, fire away, and there's not a whole lot you can do in response.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of like very interesting dynamics in terms of these fights. I also think like, man, it's so weird because like in my brain, I always envision perfect scenarios whenever we're looking at drafts, and we very rarely ever get those perfect scenarios. But the absolute combo you could have between, you know, like the like you said, the Hecate, the Ares, mix that in with the Jingwei, like the amount of damage you could get into one spot suddenly skyrockets really, really high, and it can cause a lot of trouble. Will we ever get to see that perfect lineup of abilities? Probably not. But can I dream? Yes.
Sure, of course you can. You can always dream. My big what to watch for, I think, is I'm going the simple route. They let the Fenrir through. Fenrir went to one of the teams. We've seen him so little, and every time we do see him, even if he's not winning, he's dropping numbers. So in this scenario, You've got to make it worthwhile, and you do have to deal with the Loki. That's a big thing as well. You committed the Sasano ban, which was a target ban to NMR, so I guess we'll learn if it needed to be Sasano, if it needed to be Loki, and which ways it needed to go. But let's find out. Let's stop yapping about it. Let's get in game and actually see the combat flow. Alec Hate Club versus Secret Service. Malum, Gormizer, and Doug bringing it to you. No crazy invades, though. Not all 5 people on top of each other quite yet. At least for the time being.
Yeah, well, yeah, you gotta be careful with those. You never know, right? All it takes is one person walking just a little bit the wrong direction. Luckily for them, they're kind of nowhere near each other, so you're gonna be fine.
Oh, no.
I say
Oh,
that,
no.
the
Run!
level 100 behemoth. All right, hold on. If I had a pause button, I would hit it. Tempo. Huh? Look, I'm not going to harp on it because it's in the end run, you're going to clear. Camp's fine. It's not going to be fine. I don't think I've seen a Ymir go level 1 with your carpet before.
Not if you're going for the invade.
Yeah, you go for a wall, you go for your freeze, the thing that stuns. I mean, I'm not going to, again, it's not bad. It just caught me really, really off guard there. And might have, I don't know if you get a kill onto level 100 Behemoth if you have your freeze there. I don't know if you quite had the range for it, or the proximity, but you see something new every day, right?
Yeah. You know what's so funny is, if I recall, I think I had an invade where Trelly had the same mental breakdown of, is that the carpet? So, if you are Ymir and you're thinking of invading, it worked out this time, certainly, for Tempo. You learned it today and yesterday for certain Founder Series. Put a point in your wall. Put points to NMR. Ganking early, looking for Alec Hate Club. Already a step up. Cosmic Vibes is in so much trouble. And a first blood for NMR. And Thockman Jones might just follow. He does indeed. 2 kills for the Secret Service. And right away.
That feels so good if you are a jungler, and especially if you're a jungler and a carry in this instance, right? You get first blood for your Loki, you get a second kill, and it goes over to your carry. You get a little bit of gold, you get a lot of pressure, you get control over the neutral camps. So much. Those 2 kills are more than just the 2 kills. And now, NMR, especially at this level, admittedly, you're still level 2 Loki, so you're maybe not getting as much done. It's not this crazy thing. You're level 2 if you're Tempo, which means you have a freeze or a wall at this point, so you can get a little bit more done for your team. But really, I love this aggression.
Lots of it, lots of focus, and NMR already with 2 kills and an assist. If you give a Loki this much early on, you had better batten down the hatches, because you are going to be hearing that invis in your nightmares at this rate.
Yeah, I have a lot of nightmares about Loki already, but
real.
This showcase, I think, is gonna, if it continues at this pace, right? All over the map, getting a lot of damage, showing up in mid now. No. This is, I'm gonna call it what I sees it as. This is a dream start if you're Secret Service.
Oh no, not a good start for Alec Hate Club.
No, but I was looking
actually, in a sense, for the name, Alec Hate Club, Secret Service is playing the role perfect. Cosmic Vibes is the Alec of Alec Hate Club, and the whole team is feeling the suffering for it. NMR is just rigging the benefits.
Yeah, it's, man. You just happen to be in the right place, right time, but also you're Loki, and now you're 202, you're level 3, you're doing better than, well, actually, the gank time has been split up enough that you haven't gotten as much above the Fenrir, but you're not falling far behind either. Your team is ahead because of you. They go for a little bit there. I like the amount of CC they have, and poor Aztec doesn't even know what's coming.
Not at all. And the hit, the decoy, the damage, the death. NMR on a killing spree. Hey, 1 per minute. Bonus points.
1 per minute at 3 minutes. When your team is already over the 1 per minute mark as a whole. Secret Service is doing good. That's how that's how I'm going to choose to interpret this, and how I'm going to vocalize it. Is it really is, it's just going incredibly well. I think we should have had a little bit of struggle there for tempo. And maybe that's me projecting because of the level 2 at level, or this point in year 2 at level 1, but realistically, a good wall gets you far away. You've already got control over your own camps. Level 100 Behemoth is just kind of meandering, and actually at this point might be deep enough, especially with a kill that shows up right there. You might end up biting off more than you can chew if Loki catches you out in the jungle path here.
Could definitely be the case. We did also see Secret Service just now take the whole right side of the jungle away. Mr. Sneaky 4 on level 100 Behemoth, making the wise choice of going left. Now in the 1v1 with the Loki. A great Ragnarok to respond to the assassinate. The jump gonna find the stun. Could it be a big pickup? He needs the cooldown and has to take the right route. He did not! A tough break. As unfortunate as it gets for the Fenrir. Has time though. The brutalize grabs to the Fenrir. Oh no, Fenrir, go! You gotta get this. NMR on the great escape at this point. Rotations coming out from Alec Club. Loki buying the time in the invis. Now Jingwei and Ares are here. NMR still nearby. The Ymir with the no sacrifice needed. Just a rocket jump. It remains 6-0.
That was a wild 40 seconds of gameplay that we just won. I mean, almost dead. We might still see Ferris, who gets down right here. Although you need to commit the knock up the tower shot. This might actually be worse for Aztec because of the overcommit. But I mean, the juke, you break the Fenrir's ankles. The wall is on the wrong side of the Fenrir, so it gets a little more hairy for NMR. Then suddenly you're fine again, because again, you can turn invisible. You get out of there. And then there's a rotation coming through. Now it's going to be Tempo who's in trouble. Never mind, it's a good wall. I will admit, I don't know if I've seen Tempo, do a lot of freezes. There's going to be one, which is helpful. But I feel like there's a window, if maybe a little bit of cooldown that was missing. But there's some interesting opportunities that have arisen. But when I look up, it's still 6-0. And unfortunately for Alec Hate Club, despite opportunities, they haven't been able to capitalize on them.
6 minutes, 3k gold, another jungler 1v1. Ymir nearby, it's not full one. Behemoth will jump away, and Secret Service will grab right up on the Gold Fury. 6 kills to none at those 6 minutes. It's a really good call. The Anubis postured a bit more aggressively, which will mean plenty of secure to be had, and Gold Fury goes the way of Secret Service. That gold lead gets even wider now and further away, and with how early it is, those power spikes happen even faster. Good wall, but not for a kill. This is, I mean, I would say we're already past problematic territory. It's just a matter now of, can you stem the bleeding?
Yeah, you got to slow things down as much as you can. It's not, I'm not used to mentioning that at 7 minutes into the game, but it is going to be putting pressure on the maps, kind of fighting around your own jungle, right? I don't necessarily want to see you overcommit too much. You might even have to relinquish some jungle, much like right here.
No escape out. We'll pull back the Ymir. The freeze, though, good response. Should still go down and brutalize. Maybe not, actually. World Weaver. Ragnarok committed. The Ragnarok doesn't find a home. Now the rocket jump away. The airstrike misses, too. Somebody kill the Ymir. Thankfully, someone does, but the mistake is too much. And Ion Ferris shows up with the trip. Secret Service, man. They're on a different plane.
That was crazy. I mean, there's, again, so much going on and so much going wrong. And what you see, so level 100 Behemoth, I'm going to give them a little bit of credit and maybe benefit of the doubt, but it looked like they were going to try and pick up Skunk instead of going for Tempo. And I like that idea. Tempo's one hit. Surely someone on your team is going to get the kill. You can pick up the carry, bring the carry back, get 2-1. Unfortunately, the miss, that's where it falls apart. Suddenly, you don't have anybody, and now you're just awkwardly out of position. The chase there is there, but you don't have nearly enough damage from the rest of your team right now to make that fight work out. So instead, it just falls apart, and you just get a little bit more of this. It's 10-1.
Aztec could not even finish the dazzling offensive. So much damage found the way in solo. 10 now for Secret Service. Lots of gold. That's what I'll say. Queen Naga buff getting grabbed by Secret Service as well. So when that Gold Fury does respawn, there will be a Queen Naga buff in pocket to potentially go over there and grab it. Those minions will spawn extra, make it a little bit easier to grab the objective. It even helps with less member score because they can tank a lot of the Gold Fury.
Yeah, that's the thing that really, that buff more than anything is, I just view it as tanks. It's just somebody you can throw down to hold on for you. Now, this is where Anubis suffers a little bit, but I don't know if he's going to suffer too much. Great Hecate.
A really great one. That's at least going to give some positives for Alec Club. A double kill for level 100 Behemoth off the back of a really nice open the gates from Zerg. Something for Alec Club. Gore, at least.
Yeah, something. No, and when we're looking at it again, I'm keeping my eyes on specifically picks that can create I mean, just any opportunity to get some gold, right? Going for neutral camps, getting your own camps, things like that. Something to stifle the bleeding that Secret Service have inflicted upon Alec Hate Club. And I think they've done a good job, at least in that in mid. I like the pressure we're seeing. I mean, this team lays down 2 levels and is stepping up. Granted, it's a 2v1, but you're still down 2 levels and stepping up. That's an impressive feat to have. So I like where Alec Hate Club's mindset is at. It's just making sure it works is going to be the big difference maker here. I think bullying the Anubis is a pretty easy thing to try and advocate for, because he's not going to be easy escaping pretty much anybody, especially not a Fenrir. So if you show up in mid a couple more times as level 100 Behemoth, you'll get Zerg pretty far ahead.
It's funny, we were so worried about the Loki early in the game. If you remember 3 minutes, I said, oh, kill per minute for the Loki. The Anubis is level 12. So with those 4 kills, they matter a bunch. I mean, at some point, it's got to be the Fenrir and Jingwei combining and almost baton passing to each other to get Alec Club to a late game, if you will have it. Loki on the gank, see what he can be doing here. Won't be much. We'll back away and group back up with the Anubis. Always danger on the left-hand side with that Gold Fury up. Well, Alec Club is make an attempt.
I'm going to be honest. Based on what I see on the minimap, they're going to make an attempt. I don't know if they're going to get there in time.
The laser. Too much.
Yeah, look, if Anubis is going to be good for anything, he better be good at shredding objectives, right? Like, if you're bringing anything to the table, that is just number one. But I really do, and especially with a blink on Ione Ferris, I expect to see a lot of capabilities from this Anubis. Might cause more trouble than it wins, but something to really open the door and find some kills, which is finally what Alec Hate Club are looking for, too.
Might be one on the Anubis. Open the gates. Will not catch. The turnaround nice. The stun there off the jump, and Zerg gets one. A big one for Hecate. It continues kind of be this, you're making up some ground, but you dug yourself such a hole if you're Alec Hate Club. It's like, okay, where do we really, how many victories do we need for it to actually feel like we're gaining any ground back from where we started?
Yeah, it's like a slow climb back into the game. But a slow climb is still a climb, right? I mean,
it's a climb to see the game to then get in the game.
Yeah, because it was 10-1 not
10
too
to
long
1,
ago.
yeah. We were getting, I mean, we're not far away, but we're skyrocketing to a 10k gold gap at 10 minutes. It's at least slowed down.
Yeah, what, a little under 5k, about 4.5-ish. And so you've got a little more wiggle room if you're Alec Hate Club. Admittedly, you don't want to slow down. This is a good pace. Apply that pressure. It also goes to show that if you're, someone like Secret Service, you've got to keep the pedal pressed down. When you start off with fire, you got to keep cooking.
I've yet to see the Amaterasu rotate for Alec Club as well, which could be a decent thing for the Ama to get some farm. Behemoth looking to force the fight. Will settle on Ragnarok finding the Bacchus. Asunder 2, the jump away.
NMS bailed so fast.
Could you hear the hesitation in my voice of being ready to call that a confirmed kill on the Bacchus?
Yeah, I mean, look, it felt like, and maybe there's a world, NMS invis, you take a couple steps back, Bacchus gets grabbed, belly flops out, swap out, you come back in as the Loki. My man's ran for the hills the second that they had the opportunity to. And I guess I admire it. You know what? Bacchus, maybe Ferris wasn't going to get out of that one way or another. So you keep yourself alive. But that is now, what, 5 kills in a row we've been counting that Alec Hate Club have picked up, and another, let's call it 1,000 gold that's kind of been etched away from Secret Service's super early lead.
No escape will catch 2. Bring back neither. Beads out. Pyromancer up. Coming up in 14 minutes. Gold still in control. 6-10 still. It really has slowed down. I feel like that last fight, that last large fight that we saw of the, you know, somebody killed the Ymir, I feel like that was almost a wake-up call fight for Alec Club. Like, okay, maybe we stop forcing these things and we just look for the little stuff we can grab. And since then, they've done it. In terms of itemization, they're coming online there as well. The Anubis has been controlled, and Zerg is actually caught up there, Gore. What's the next objective? I mean, is it the gold, or is it Pyro that you think Alec Hate Club can actually show up at and say, hey, we would like to play Smite game?
Yeah, realistically, I mean, this has been, well, let's be more specific. They'd like to play Conquest. We've been playing Arena on a wide map here. There's a couple of other objectives that happen to exist in between, but it just feels like team fight and fights all around. You've got objectives coming up, maybe an isolated and dead Cosmic Vibes.
And that's why it's named Alec Hate Club. That's how they got the name. Gold Fury pulled by Secret Service. Fenrir is nearby. Thok and Zerg positioning to make a contest attempt. Loki stepping up, though, aware, and it looks like Secret Service are burning it slow enough that they're almost like, please come contest this so we can blow you up.
Wall, good. I feel like this is a team fight that I don't know if Alec Hate Club won.
Thok maybe thinking the same thing. Those autos were finding a decent home, and it bought enough time. Behemoth with the kill on NMR. Ymir rocket jumping away. Aztec has rotated over, and the Gold Fury dropped. So pretty nice stoppage, if not clunky, from Alec Hate Club. Can they continue it? Secret Service stepping back up to contest yet again. The flop is in, a 2-man knockup. Lots of damage follows suit, and Skunk will bring down the Fenrir. Aztec will use Dalsing offensive to get away. So 3 Gold Furies for Secret Service, and it's still 7,500 gold lead.
Yeah, extend it a little further. The next Fury is going to become a lot more weighty behind it, right? Getting an Ancient Fury, shutting down towers, a lot more potential, especially since, and this is one of the first games I've seen like this where we haven't seen a tower fall just yet. This gold lead is purely farm on the map. It has not, you know, existed beyond structures. And so there's a lot of potential both for Alec Hate Club to make up some of that gold because of that, but also for Secret Service to just run it down. Looking at the health in mid and in right, a lot of opportunities for him. It's really just, and mainly this is something we haven't seen a lot. Outside of Hecate, we've seen a lot of like carries or auto attackers, you know, getting a Neith plus a soul on a team, a Neith and a Jingwei, a soul and a Jingwei, things like that. And so knocking down towers has been like the name of the game. It's been super simple, pretty straightforward. You don't have that as much on either of these squads, right? Jingwei and Neith have been kind of sequestered off on their own lane. Neither of their towers have really been touched. And so as we start to venture now 17 minutes in and move forward to where these teams are grouping, I expect to see towers going down a lot quicker, and I anticipate that's going to create an even larger chasm between these teams. Or for Alec Hate Club, if they can be the ones to group up and get it going, it might shut down Secret Service quick enough that they can start getting into some even fights.
Are you concerned about the jungle level differential? NMR been level 13 for a bit. Behemoth about to hit level 16 on the Fenrir as this war stuff continues. Actually, hold that thought. Alec Hate Club with an ambitious Fire Giant pull. There's nobody around. Aztec's been keeping the Bacchus busy on the Warhorn. Only just now is the Bacchus walking away. Fenrir's in mid. Attention's there. The Bacchus now aware, can step to the fire. Behemoth down in the mid lane. Open the gates to distract the Bacchus. It does work out. Alec Hate Club with the heist, grab the fire. Can you get away and keep everybody alive? No escape to try to help out. Cosmic Vibes down. Aztec cleans up Ferris. The dash in onto Ione Ferris, but they might just own Aztec in response.
NMR swings around the back. You got a Jingwei in the sky. You are fishing for Fire Giant buffs right now, and you are finding them every step of the way. But you need a little help if you're the Anubis.
A lot of help. The gust was too much. Almost a chance there for Thok to make a legendary play, but instead goes down. And you were fishing for fire giant buffs, and all of a sudden the cooler is overflowing with them. Secret Service cleaned it up. It's like it never even happened.
Now, this is where that phrase that you use is perfect. Because that's exactly what your goal is. Like, when you are up against a team that gets a fire giant, even so, if you're behind, Alec Hate Club, that's a play to get some power, even up the gold differential between you, and get some stuff done on the map. If you're Secret Service and you get that, what you have done is rejected their fire giant. Yes, it was a cool play. Yes, they got a little bit done. Now it just does not matter. It also means that for Alec Hate Club, you kept it out of Secret Service's hands, which has to feel good on its own, but there's only so much you can do here. And now that I'm looking at it and taking a glance across the board, that's going to end up making them suffer a little bit. That fight going awry for them, unfortunately, means they don't have the same push power that we have on the other side. Now, the other thing to address is what you had asked me before that fight breaks out, which is looking at NMR, who was, what, 2 levels down? It was 15 to 13. Now it's 17 to 16. Still behind, technically, but gets a massive, massive infusion of experience from that fight. And now your team can get aggressive, go for this Ancient Fury. Suddenly you're talking about being able to siege without any worries. You might not have the Fire Giant, but you've got pretty much everything else that you could need.
That is the Ancient Fury, and Secret Service are pulling it. Alec Hate Club attempting to respond. So far, not looking great. They lose the Fenrir. Cosmic Vibes could be next. No escape and open against combined. Lots of damage does turn around. It's gone. Zerg picks up Ion Ferris. That's a couple picks. Alec Hate Club not quite out just yet. Tempo able to step away, a bit too tanky. Thok keeping eyes on NMR. Zerg does clean up the Ymir. A really good fight for Alec Hate Club. I'm hesitant to say this. It'll depend on the Ancient Fury. They get it. Gore, is there a comeback arc to be had here?
The story, look, is being written by someone cleverer than I, right? Because the plot twists are thick in this one. And it is like...
Yeah, when did Hindu start writing the scripts with Expo?
I was really expecting Bacchus to, like, leap in. I was like, okay, the steal's coming, the steal's coming. Now, yeah, look, hey, you might have lost all 5 of your Fire Giant buffs, but you got the fight after, and now you can knock down some of these towers. I was talking about closing up the gold lead. This is where you do it. Siege, siege, siege. Run down every lane, get every tower you can while you have time, and maybe shy away from a couple fights, right, just in case, but you're in a great spot to play aggressive and to really, really push down Secret Service, and again, get yourselves right back into this game. It is neck and neck as far as I'm concerned with where these teams are.
Also looking at the Jingwei, seeing that Demon Blade is like a button of, hey, I do damage now. Thok knowing the same thing. Contest the Pyromancer on their lonesome. Fenrir takes advantage of that, goes right to the back line. Alec Hate Club get the Pyromancer and almost get a pick. But as Gore said, keep finding gold anywhere you can. Aztec heard that calling, looked for NMR, will force out the ultimate there. Secret Service are slowly finding themselves in a lot of trouble.
I like their defense if we're looking at it mounting up, specifically because you've got Anubis, right? All you need is a little bit of CC, you can burn somebody down. So I understand hesitation from Alec Hate Club to step forward and try to knock down a tower. But it does mean that you are, well, kind of on the back foot. I don't know, the Anubis, it's... I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest, and this is an admission of what I would consider a character flaw. I like Blink Anubis. I like Blink Anubis because I like playing it very aggressive. I like blinking in on people, and so when I see Ion Ferris running a Blink Anubis, now that you're getting close to full build, you are about as strong as you're going to get. My brain wants to see you blink in and go for a kill. Now, is that the smartest thing to do? God, no. It is maybe one of the worst things you can do. You're so easy to kill. But you've got some lifesteal going on. You've got a lot of capabilities to fight back and punch back. And so I'm looking at that Secret Service, and they do have good engage. Maybe not quite as strong all around. I'm looking at Ferris and Tempo specifically because I think level 100 Behemoth, Cosmic Vibes, and Aztec all have just incredible engage to start fights. So you got to find something off the wall, off the freeze, or maybe even off NMR, potentially finding a big ult.
Loki still holding on to that assassinate. 23 minutes pass, 12 to 19. Put up on 68,000 gold for Secret Service, and Alec Club have really handled that gap, and as Goris said, made this game feel more even and back foot for Secret Service than I think anyone would have anticipated 15 minutes ago. Technically speaking, 20 minutes ago. Back to when the Loki had the 1 kill per minute. I could not have foreseen this outcome. This Fire Giant that everyone's dancing around already as we're getting closer to those level 20s, this could be the breaking point.
Yeah, this Fire Giant fight, and more so how they go about securing it, because all it takes is one slip up, all it takes is one mistake, and it could fall apart. But it's, again, I think coming down to that engage. I kind of like control of the pit and burn potential for Secret Service. I feel like I like their secure potential as well, just because of the Bacchus. So I wouldn't mind seeing them try to start it up as a bait, maybe then go for a fight, but Alec Club have a really good counter engage.
You can't afford this. You cannot afford to lose a Fenrir, but Alec Club do. Now down a member, 4v5 for a fire if Secret Service were to pull. Bacchus towards the back line, Secret Service pushing in. Alec Club now spread thin, and they might just lose Cosmic Vibes. Ultimates come out from the frontliners in a panic of Alec Club. Aztec with the dash away, runs into the Bacchus, the stun, the knock-up, the wrap. All the CC finds a home. Now that's 3 gone for Alec Club, and Apathy proves to yet again be death.
Now you are, you have control of this, right? You have no worries about this Fire Giant. Pretty much no worries about the way the map state is going. Everything. This is so bizarre to me because despite how often Secret Service have found themselves in the lead, the map state, every time I look at it, tends to be the same. Right? Gold is changing constantly, but like somehow, despite all of everything, all tier 1s have been knocked down. So you still have tier 1 or tier 2 standing on both sides. This Fire Giant should help change that. This should be where Secret Service gets aggressive. This is going to be the point to step up. And I will admit, the map, and maybe more so my eyes playing a trick on me, because that tier 1 tower I left still technically exists. So you have a Pyromancer on the map that you could try to go for. You have a Fury on the map that you could try to go for. I think in this case, probably start a fight for the Fury. You've got 5 strong with a Fire Giant. Then run it down left or mid. Aim for a Phoenix. That's going to be your primary goal over the next few minutes.
Secret Service, aware of the damage Thok can do, tried to target out the Jingwei. Ancient Fury lightly started. Fenrir poking his head around the corner, jumping into 5. Ragnarok brings back the Loki. Can they kill him fast enough? He has ultimate. The ult's going to be good to get away. Secret Service still standing strong. And Loki out. Now Bacchus engaging. Flop not going to find a home. Intoxicate does. Open the gates. Will flip-flop enough? No, it doesn't. NMR back in. Doesn't find damage. Has to back away. Lot traded. Nothing gained. Secret Service look like they might be the more confident ones in the fight. The new entryway is the Ymir, and there's the damage they were looking for just a moment ago. NMR gets caught by Aztec with a blind shot. How much will that matter as Ion Ferris is owning your team in the backline with the triple, with the quadra kill, and Aztec will run for the hills. Secret Service does it again.
You know what? If this game had been any less competitive, I would have said give them the penta, but I recognize it. I understand it. Run for the hills. Get out of there. Unfortunately for Aztec, and this is actually really great by Ferris, Bacchus is not going to be the tower pusher that your team really needs. Maybe could tank it a little bit, but that's what you got tempo for. So I love this. What is Ferris doing? Ferris is playing stop the defense. What is Aztec going to do here other than run around? You might even be able to get something done here. I don't know. You only got 10 seconds to go for the Titan.
5 until Cosmic Vibes is up, but the Titan is dropping fairly quickly. At help, there's the laser! The Glacier Strike 2! The wall to stop Cosmic! Is this enough damage onto the Titan? Will Secret Service do it? Yeah, they will! The Quadra Kill locks it in! Secret Service walks it in, and now a Club go down a game.
And I can feel a lot less bad about myself loving Blink Anubis. It works out,
cooked.
Right? Therefore,
cooked this
absolutely
day.
Perfectly fine. No, that is, look, they just play so well. NMR gets off to a picturesque start. Right? Kills in duo, you get a kill in solo, kill in mid, and then they just start to roll through. But I have to give, props where props are due. Alec Hate Club lasts way longer in that game than they really had any right to, given the way it started. That should have been like 15-minute Fire Giant Secret Service, 19-minute game end kind of deal. But instead, they're able to hunker down. They fight back. They get their own Fire Giant. They get their own Ancient Fury. Like, they play incredibly well. And look, all I'm saying is this: if this is what we're going to be getting, like, they have put on a great show just for a single game.
In a weird way, they can go into game 2 more confident than they started game 1
Yeah.
in a very, very weird turn of events. But speaking of that, more games to come. Game 2 around the corner. Can Alec Hate Club bring it back? We'll find out. Don't go anywhere in Smite Game. Hello, I missed you. You miss us? Malum, Gore,
Hopefully.
back at you. Hopefully you did. Alec Club down a game, but showed signs of life towards the end. So if you are Secret Service, you're looking to take it here, but I think Goremizer, Alec Club might come into this picks and bans with a little something to prove.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lot to prove in game one, and it just kept showing up, kept stepping up to the plate whenever they were needed, and surprisingly able to extend it despite what I would call a pretty horrendous start for them.
A little bit.
I imagine that this one's going to be just as much of a spectacle. I'm keeping my eyes on like what they do. I mean, we talked a little bit about picks and bans. You had an Anubis that got a quadra kill in the last game. That's not happening that often in a majority of these Founders Series games. And so if Ion Ferris is able to do that on a god that isn't really highly prioritized, what can they do it when given, well, I'm not going to say Hecate, but something that is maybe considered quote unquote more meta, right? If you were running like an ETH mid or something like that. And so I'm going to be watching with bated breath. I also thought it was interesting because NMR did an insane amount in the first like 5 levels and then kind of disappeared for a little bit, but that didn't slow the team down. Finally came back, was still trailing by inexperience to the Fenrir. I think that the Fenrir definitely was doing a lot. Level 100 Behemoth was all across the board. But NMR, I think just team-wise, had a little bit more going on around them, and the gold lead helped a whole ton to really help kind of facilitate the fact that, you might not be ahead in levels, but doesn't really matter. You've got the items and you've got the damage.
One thing I want to ask you, we saw the charts before. Ion Ferris got the quadra kill, but Ferris had more damage. So does Ion Ferris own Ferris? Or does Ferris own Ferris?
Ferris was solo, which means at least 3,000 of that had to be fake damage.
Yeah, Mickey damage. Sure.
Where you just get it because there happens to be a guy standing next to you that you smack sometimes. So I still give Ion Ferris the owning title.
So 0-1 score right now with Secret Service up the 1, and Ion Ferris up 1 over Ferris. Got it. Yes. Let's go picks and bans and see who else can go up. If we have our 2-0 for either side, Secret Service will be your order team, Alec Club to the Chaos side. And where do we go? And will there be a little bit of a tilt ban? We got to get rid of this. I mean, if I see an Anubis ban here, I might need recovery time. I might need to take a breather.
If an Anubis ban came out, I would also need a breather. I might actually step away.
We both leave.
I don't know what I would do. I don't know how. I don't know what I would say. Because at the end of the day, he was not the dog that was really causing the most trouble. He capitalized on it, but it was what was around him that was doing really well. So I like the other idea. I like the Odin ban. And I really like the Fenrir ban. I think the Fenrir ban, again, it just feels right. You did a lot with it. You don't want NMR getting to the same start on a better pick. In fact, at this point, I would be surprised. I mean, Susano wouldn't be bad for Secret Service if NMR has it in the pocket. I feel like if you get the same start on like a Susano, that game maybe ends a little faster because of what you're able to do in terms of chasing people down. So I like the Fenrir ban for that reason. I think it changes what Secret Service could go for in the top pick. I also think it'll be a little revealing of Secret Service's kind of mind strats based on what they grab.
The Ymir picked up.
Which, by the way, again, got carpet level 1. Want to throw that out
level
there.
1. I was going to throw out, that is a signature pick of Cosmic Vibes on support. The Ymir is kind of synonymous with Alec in the amateur and the community scene. Now, there's a million reasons aside from that you can pick up the Ymir, but it certainly is a +1 positive for Secret Service to continuously take it away and give it to tempo. Just watch for what's taken level 1.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here, though, Gore? Because I'm looking and I'm thinking,
Sorry,
I'm thinking let's get Thokman Jingwei. Go on.
I'm having horror flashbacks, but yeah, Bacchus Jingwei seems good. I can agree to that. Bacchus, in general, this lock-in is really solid. I think that it's going to be, again, someone that, as far as control goes, it brings a lot. I don't necessarily dislike the Amaterasu pickup here either. I do think there are others that we've seen more historically, wide success on, which is why Jingwei, I think, came to my mind and would fit in there. But I think Ama's really good. You got a great front line here. I will come up front just because I've seen Bacchus go solo more often than not. Will want to see this probably be support Bacchus solo Ama as it currently stands, just because I feel like that's where they would fit better. I also got a taste, I think, at EMEA yesterday of an Ama jungle. Can't say I'm necessarily a big fan of that one either, so that's the roles I'd like them to go. We'll see where Alec Club put them, and if they make me eat my words after they've locked them in as well. But I like the draft. I like where they're at. I like the engage, and I like the fight.
Susano grabbed by Secret Service to accompany the Ymir. Now, remember, the Susano was a ban in game number 1. I believe Secret Service are the ones who banned it away, though. So now getting to secure that for NMR. And we want to talk about signature picks I'm familiar with from that community scene. NMR, while a name that some people outside of just that community amateur scene may be familiar with, Susano is definitely a character they are synonymous with. So I expect some big numbers. I expect big things from the Susano, and accompanied by Anith. I mean, this top 3 for Secret Service, there's been teams that we've seen in the Founder Series this weekend, Gore, where if they got Ymir, Susano, Neith, we're already trying to figure out ways for the other team to get back in the game.
Yeah, it is, I'll admit, very difficult. I think if Secret Service can isolate and find someone like they did in minute 0, like they did last time, we're having a different conversation. I will also admit, and this I know goes against, I think, who was it? It was Scrumptious in our last set, who had a very similar draft with like a Bacchus, Ama, Chalk. Like they had a lot of more what you would maybe regard in your mind as tanky. I think it was a Mordred instead of an Ama. And they made it work, and I think it's because of those characters and how they scale well. I think that you could say the same here. Bacchus, Chalk can do enough damage. They can get the job done. I'm going to add a but, though, and that is that you are still mostly close range, right? It's not a lot of like long range carries, anything like that. So I'm looking at the Jing Wei for more damage, and whoever they lock in at the very end for a lot of their damage. I will also say that I think the play potential of this team, while it's high, they've got great engage. They've even got some pretty good counter engage. They've got good ways to stop Secret Service. I think it might be a heavy investment, and I don't know if they'll have enough damage to follow up that engage. That's going to be the thing that concerns me the most. So I'm watching them with bated breath, because if they get the lead that Secret Service had, it won't matter.
There will be no dissenters.
What I think right here, they'll be able to get the job done no matter what.
My word is
Mordred
law,
grabbed by Secret
and the
Service.
kingdom, the world,
doesn't throw too much of a
will
loop. I
obey.
feel like we can't expect that to go to Ferris in solo, given the info we have at least. Putting on this mid pick, and there it is. I own Ferris, looking to own Alec Club one more time. Maybe once that Penta had to settle for a quadra kill as Aztec hightailed it out of there at that last fight of game number 1. Now for the last pick for Alec Club, it seems like they are in need of a mid laner, and options are a bit limited.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Despite getting a quadra kill and I think he was 10-4. Didn't really expect to see the Anubis come back. I was wondering if we were going to see something different. I don't hate it, right? Again, I'm a fan of Anubis. I just don't know if it is going to do too well. Luckily, a lot of the things that were causing you issue, or that I would have been worried about before, like, you don't have to deal with that. Like, Fenrir was your biggest thorn in your side as an Anubis. And now, I mean, who's going to cause that much trouble for you? Like, the Morgan, maybe, you know, Ama, maybe, like, the Morgan being able to turn into Susano is like your worst nightmare. That might literally be the worst thing for you. Other than that, you're kind of free falling right now. I think you're in a good spot as an Anubis to just farm up and I guess do whatever you want.
Well, there is other stuff, like you said, that can... Nothing's on the level of Fenrir. There's other stuff that can cause Anubis trouble. You'll have the flops, you'll have the Axe Torrent combination from Chalk, but that's all stuff that you have to really commit to do to Anubis. And we did see Secret Service make Alec Club pay for overcommitting to the Anubis a couple of times. So they understand how to get their Anubis to where he needs to be a functioning member of their society, essentially.
Yeah. They know how to set it up. It's just, I mean, look, it's something you can only get when you've been playing with the guy, right? So they obviously have a lot of trust and feel with each other on how things go. So I'm keeping my eyes on just what is he going to accomplish? What relic does he go, right? Are you going to go blink again?
I know you want the blink.
Maybe Aegis beads. I mean, I don't know. You might not even really need them. Like, there's a lot of CC, but with the peel your team has and the self peel that Anubis has, like, assuming you aren't using your wrap too early, like, you might just be fine in a really weird way.
I'm on the same page. I'm searching my brain of what could be more. I know a lot of people go with the Aegis for the lower cooldown, but the blink seems so impactful for the Anubis. It added that extra layer of not just survivability, but the repositioning that Io and Ferris kept doing. Because that was another thing we can really shout out. That was how many times Io and Ferris wasn't in a fight until they needed to be. They were completely safe and away from all the trouble, and then here's the Goobus blowing everybody up.
I mean, what feels good on a god that has no mobility? Mobility. You add mobility and suddenly you're like, wow, this Anubis guy's pretty good. That's exactly what the blink is doing for him. So all of a sudden you go from this, oh man, everything sucks and I hate it, to like, okay, I'm a 1, 2, and before you get the stun, I'm out of here. Like, you can't close the gap. You can't get that AoE. Like you said, the problems are going to come up maybe with the belly flop, because that one's going to be a little harder to get the exact timing on for a dodge, but like, you're not going to need it most of the time when the Bacchus is getting involved as the Anubis in mid, unless this Bacchus is going somewhere that I don't expect, in which case, who knows, maybe he'll show up a little earlier.
Had a lot of Smite today. Will this be the last Smite 2 for today? Let's find out. Get into game number 2 between Secret Service and Alec Hate Club. Secret Service up 1-2-0. Malum, Gormizer, Doug, and Secret Service are running it down the right lane to the Stealth Grass. They go. Who will they find? Soon we'll know.
Let's see now. Last time, it was no one until it was someone. All right, guys. Turn your eyes right.
They could turn their eyes right, or they could go for a proxy, too.
Oh, get in there. Yeah. This is great.
I'm with you. Let's go Chaos.
He threw the... Well, because he already threw the axe. He thinks this is safe.
Is it ever really safe, though, when there's 5 people in
bud?
your
Did you
jungle?
get the memo to stay invisible? Come on.
Did a side quest pop up? I gotta go collect the frogs and solo lane. All right, well, that's exciting. I was with you, though.
I advocate for violence.
Dulcin and Trelly got the fun invades. They got the 5-on-5s, the full ints. We just get a little tiny portion, and they don't even fully go for it. Still, though, NMR and Ferris hanging out at that blue buff, waiting for the Chalk, who's yet to arrive. Looks like the Chalk is waiting for the same thing to happen. Now walking over, Ama also here. Ferris and NMR don't see the Amaterasu to their right. NMR just saw it. Ferris said, let's go. NMR said, I'm with you. Nothing hits.
Surely you're... All right, we're going for the buff. That's the goal. It is not successful.
Or Ghost of Ferris, so it was successful.
It is successful.
Nope, Mr. Sneaky with the combination, trying to bring down Ferris. The damage is there, so you got the red buff, but at what cost? First blood for Alec Hate Club. A very different start than what we saw in the previous game. And we're still brawling with Behemoth. Both of these guys better be careful with this. I don't think either one kill the way they think they do.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. That was maybe one of the most anticlimactic invade. Like, you get the red.
Yeah, I love when I throw a water balloon and it turned out there was air.
But yeah, then it kind of, then you die and we reset and we're back to normal. Maybe that little bit of experience, though, is going to make a big difference. And we'll see. I mean, Secret Service, they're kind of getting their health bars bodied across the board. So this is a good start for Alec Hate Club, despite losing out on the one buff.
Could be a little bit of nerves in game 1 at the very start for Alec Hate Club as well. We mentioned a lot of names that you're probably unfamiliar with and getting to learn here for the first time today. So that brings with it a little bit of, a little bit of extra anxiety. The hands are feeling a little bit colder on the keyboard or the controller on a day like today. And Alec Hate Club maybe needed that bit from game 1. Time will only tell, but so far off to a decent start with that invade. And the dual lane, as Gore mentioned, has a lot more pressure. But the Susano Gore, NMR, I am watching that Susano on the map like a hawk to see what he can facilitate.
Yeah, I think the Susano has a lot of potential. I mean, we've talked about it a lot. I've talked about it a lot this weekend. The capabilities of a Susano that we have seen in Smite 2 to solo carry is just crazy. I mean, the guy seems to have no end when he gets ahead. And that's kind of why I was looking at NMR. It's like, if you get the same start on a Susanoo that you got on a Loki, then this game is over. And we could go ahead and just call it where it is. But luckily for Alec Hate Club, that doesn't happen, right? You're just double or triple goose egg. Nothing too crazy. This lane, this gank could be where that changes, though.
Eyes were on the Jingwei. Susanoo looking to commit forward towards that back line. C-Stock will settle for Cosmic Vibe. Phantom Shell out. The Ymir Wall, good, but not enough. And Amar does not want to dive the tower. Good call. So no pickup onto the support of Alec Hate Club. Secret Service just got to walk away from it.
Yeah, unfortunate scenario. I think that the Ymir Wall probably could have been dropped a little quicker to make sure that NMR could get in and stay in. But at the end of the day, you put the fear of Susanoo in them, right? So they know that they need to be a little worried about it. Won't be surprised if NMR, especially now, maybe slows it down all around. I mean, there's not really a lot of opportunities in lane the way you had last time. I feel like the pressure in duo is pretty much where you're going to find a lot of your opportunities. Maybe Ferris is someone that you can back up, maybe with the, especially level 5s coming around the corner. That could be like the solo lane gank time to show up, but Ama's CC immune and can stun people back away. Duo lane, you've got to freeze a wall. The loathsome level 1 carpet potential that Tempo could have gone. There's a lot over here. I don't know why Tempo's so invested in this.
Really, really invested. There is a Goobus around the corner. Ion Ferris says, hey, there's a lot of people here. I don't know if you want a full commit. Ymir says what's not. So we'll remain at that 1-0, but a lot of jungle presence there. And that's been important. Now the end on Aztec. The ult's good on the landing. Typhoon waiting. A beautiful combination from Secret Service that Aztec is on the bitter end of.
I don't know if this goes as well for the Chalk as he likes to think. Anubis is going to turn
Oh my god!
He never hit him!
Gore cooked! Buy Blink on Anubis. Never buy anything else. Gore cooked. That was crazy. Ion Ferris is really in the flow state in this set.
I think Alec Hate Club. Okay, if Ion Ferris gets a triple, but definitely if a quadra or a penta, you've got to change your name, I think, from Alec Hate Club to Ferris, right?
Yeah.
Just to make sure that it's known. And that might be true of every team. if Ion Ferris has a big performance against, this is a great thing to hold the ult for, by the way. You just need a little more damage.
Oh, decent tracking, but did miss a couple ticks. Holds the wrap. Behemoth will be allowed to live. Doesn't seem to be backing, though. Ion Ferris might be privy.
This actually
Sees the Chalk now for sure. The axe goes to the side. That was a dangerous game. Ion Ferris has no fear. Me personally, a guy like me, to quote Trelly, I'm never stepping up to that. Nice play from Ferris. Can he find the kill? No. Out of range on Aztec.
But it goes to show, and I think this is a really big deal, especially in duo lane. What a good backflip. Oh my god, the damage this Neath just put down. If you can get a good wall, but no, Tempo just too far away. Still gets a great wall. Good drop, good root, good autos, good damage, and a good kill. It's only stay as one. Oh my god, you're right. It's going to come up relatively soon. All you have to do is delay the back, and you get another one.
Thok is yet to back. There it is. He's in
oh no, no vision.
He just got out of range. That must have been a few seconds worth. Still isn't back though. If Thok shows, Thok is dead.
Yeah.
Just back. Okay. Whew. A lot of close calls this game.
Well, now, as you had mentioned with the World Weaver back up, these close calls are going to be a lot harder to escape from overall on the side of Alec Hate Club.
Aztec, seemingly aware of NMR's presence. A lot of focus on the Aztec this set as well. Ferris has been having plenty of 1v1s. But I like keeping the Amaterasu down, Gore. We've been talking about things we've seen this weekend. Amaterasu up is a problem. But while this is happening in right, and Aztec seemingly aware, look at left. Gold Fury, the call from Alec Hate Club. Great response to the attention onto Aztec. I mean, even with the World Weaver committed and Aztec going down, that is very, very worth it in my brain.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, 1 for Fury is a trade that pretty much any team should make, especially when you're already behind. Like for Alec Hate Club, that starts to claw your way right back into an even game pretty easily. It was starting to slip away, but now you're not even really that worried about it. Surprised that the damage was going elsewhere. Tower gets a lot done. Ion Ferris is so low, but look at the Susanoo. Is he going to get there in time?
You could get the combo there quick enough. There's a Gesturing Typhoon instantaneously finds it. And Behemoth goes down. NMR, I'm sure, would have liked both, but we'll settle for the 1 and the killing spree.
I really do, and I think that you're lucky if you're Alec Club that they separated the way they did, because if they were sitting anywhere near each other, that's going wrong real fast. And yeah, no, Mordred.
Mordred gets me every time when someone misses it. That might be the funniest ultimate to miss in the entirety of Smite's history.
I like to just, I was waiting and then, nope, just another little chuckle about it. No, this is just really solid from Secret Service. And even if you're going to miss it, again, it's something that works out incredibly well here for Secret Service. Gold lead, kill lead. That Gold Fury going the other way so far hasn't really slowed them down. I think you get to see it again. Oh no, this
time
one
it hits! And Aztec will certainly, not so certainly, be dead. Really tanky for level 7 on this Amaterasu. I thought for sure that'd be enough, but it isn't. World Leaper charged up. Shoots across, not even needed. Ferris will find Aztec underneath that tier 1 tower. Rough game for the Amaterasu so far. I think it's fair to say there's a little bit of attention being put on the Amaterasu.
I like the pressure, right? I mean, you really got just a huge focus. Admittedly, that focus kind of lost you a Gold Fury because you were investing so much, but now you've got a lot going on. Level 100 Behemoth's just getting absolutely demolished.
Can't get the last auto as Behemoth's away. Now the Morgan here finds a stun to protect out. Meanwhile, left side, second fight happening. Morgan will go down to that main one. Zerg able to pick up NMR. Tempo trades it back. Ferris has been gone. What is happening? Look at all those death timers for Alec Club. Just when you think things are looking up, Secret Service just bonks you on the head. 9-4 at 9 minutes.
The back and forth these teams have
Like
is
that,
just so fun to watch.
They were popping up so quickly, the sound didn't stop.
I mean, it genuinely just kill. And it's low health bars, it's overcommits, it's really good response from your team. It's just unfortunate for Alec Club that despite all of the moments they've had these success stories, it has then also been met with just as much success from Secret Service, right? Even when they start picking up, you know, the kills, even when they feel like they can get a Gold Fury, you just struggle a little bit to really get the ball rolling for your team and to find that true pressure that your team's been waiting for and wanting, really even in game 1, because I think in game 1, like, you get that Fire Giant, it doesn't really do anything. You get a Fury, doesn't really give you too much. That's been the same story this game, and it's only been 10 minutes.
Tempo will gain some extra vision, plus oracles, of course, for Gold Fury. Second one soon to spawn. First one went to Alec Club. Desano and Anubis definitely still worth keeping eyes on. Ion Ferris has yet to have a blow-up moment, but still is sitting on 4 assists on that Anubis. The last fight was kind of the sign of things to come, I think, for the Anubis, and scary enough, Gore, that Ferris, level 12 on that Mordred. Aztec only level 9. If this Gold Fury goes too, the problems are only continuing to compound for Alec Club. What can they... Last game, it felt like it was the ambitious Fire Giant call that really turned the course of the game. Even though they lost it in the end, they turned the flow of the game around.
Yeah.
Might have to wait. Ion Ferris in trouble. Typhoon for safety. So what is it this game? Is it the same type of ambition they need to find?
I don't dislike that idea. I feel like a good transformation. Zerg's in a good spot. They aren't really trailing super far behind. I mean, 3 levels in solo definitely is going to be felt. But it's, I think, choosing the engagement a little more carefully. I feel like you get a lot of fights where, hey, this guy's already dead. Don't choose to fight now. Wait a second before you go for an engage, or wait until you see something a little more secure.
Secret Service push up to the tier 1. Might be free airstrike away from Thok. And back. Doesn't want to commit. Ferris getting hit a lot. Isn't going down a lot. The Heart Slash, though, being interrupted is the key to taking out that Mordred, and Thok will have the credit. That's the worst part about the Heart Slash. While it does feel great and keeps you alive, not CC immune. CC immune is dazzling offensive. The stun good onto Anubis, and Aztec able to find that Goobus. So a couple picks for Alec Club.
And you know what? A few picks, again, steps in the right direction. It's what you do at the time that after. Unfortunately for them, Secret Service have been a little more on point with the neutral camps since that very first Gold Fury goes down. So there's not the easy, oh, let's just walk over and grab this. And I mean, even now, Skunk, I can't believe you're stepping up to 3 right here, but you might be able to steal this.
Did he get it? No way Skunk got that.
Skunk stole it. Nobody picked it up on the
I
other
know.
side.
I was waiting to see if somebody picked it up, if they were, nope, frozen in shock.
It's still sitting there.
You know, there's games that are cinema.
Peak cinema right here.
Yeah, it's peak cinema with that right amount of comedy. You know, it's just enough comedy to hold the attention of the Zoomers, but just enough cinema to keep the boomers in the seats as well. It's the perfect amount so far in this game too. Cosmic Vibes in trouble, walled off. Glacial Strike combined with the World Weaver. Surely you kill. They do. Now tempo knocked up, but plenty okay. Chalk will consider it. Goes in aggressive for some reason, and Skunk will pick it up.
Now, luckily for Jingwei, you've got the ult to get out over the wall. Not too worried about what they're doing in terms of aggression. I mean, look at MMR. This is not a guy that is worried about the health bar right now. Just aggression, aggression, aggression. That Jingwei lucky to walk away with their life. And I think that's going to be the same. And something you could maybe just say of Alec Hate Club all around. This is a team that is out here for blood. And they're getting it every step of the way. And it feels like they have been able to write success stories out of what feel like imminent failures. Things that could possibly go wrong, just falling apart at the last minute, just so Secret Service can continue to do their duty and control this map. And I'm looking at that timers across the board. You're about to have a lot of neutral objectives that are coming up. And when you're this far ahead, those neutral objectives scream out for you.
Secret Service may even be wise to get to that fire giant when it spawns, just in case Alec Hate Club try to get cute again and grab it on the spawn, like game number 1. Pyro is the call for now. Gold will be up soon. Fire in 30 seconds. There's kind of a lot that can erupt in a moment's notice. So for now, 12-6. We'll see how long those kills remain there. And a 10k gold lead for Secret Service in that 15 minutes, which in its own right is fairly impressive. Level lead significantly favors Secret Service, which may be the biggest hindrance to an Alec Hate Club attempt at a sneaky fire.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think I'd hate it if they wanted to go for it. I think it would add some more spice to the game the way that they have been so far. World Weaver coming out, eaten.
Must have been grabbed by the Bacchus in mid, potentially.
Yeah, and even if it didn't, you had CC immunity, you were maybe going to get stunned for a second afterward, but nothing too big that could have potentially come out of that fight the same way that it could have had it hit. I mean, honestly, even the Jingwei that was just across the way from where the Neath was.
NMR rotates over through the teleporter. Tempo at gold. As company, Aztec in solo. Ama not here, but Anubis is traveling towards the mid lane as well. The lone member in mid. Alec Hate Club see the opening. They converge. They can't find Anubis. The blink pulls through clutch yet again. Meanwhile, Gold has been getting pulled and goes down to Secret Service. You can find picks off the back of this. This is a fantastic play.
Now aggressive as well. You get the chase off. And I mean, there's not much this Jock can do to get out alive.
Ion Ferris back at it again, has the laser to find one. The Glacial Strike will pick up Cosmic Vibes, and the Spit, oh man, that Plague is certainly full Locust. Down goes another, Thok will follow. 2 left alive, make it the 1, just Zerg now. Morgan's like, all right guys, are we cool if I don't defend this?
It is so crazy to me, and very specifically, that fight goes so handily in favor of Secret Service that it's almost difficult to choose what to do. Like, you could see it. They were like, well, wait, hold on. Do we still go for fire, or should we push? Yeah. Or like, wait, way more kills than we expected there. Like 2 kills, 3 kills. That's going to make sure you get the fire giant. Getting that 4th, it suddenly opens up this conversation of running it down towards their base. But I like this way more. Get fire, get power, run them down, and you've just got absolute control of them.
I'm trying to be generous and kind of look around and find someone to point to. Last game, I looked at Stock's build on the Jingwei, and I said, oh, you know, Crit's online, a different route this time. It has that hi-rez with Executioner. I'm looking at Aztec, a couple levels down below Ferris, and has been notably quiet. Level 100 Behemoth is incredibly behind Kumar on that Sasano. I'm finding it very, very hard to lock in on the positives the way we were. I mean, I guess that's natural to 15,000 gold lead, but I just expected a different type of fight coming out from Alec Club after they made it seem possible in game number 1 when the odds should have been at least worse.
Yeah, no, I'm again wholeheartedly into and I'm gonna say endorsing what we see from Secret Service, because the way they've been playing this and like their presence across the map, left and right, like this is just a team that knows when they're going to engage. They know where they want to engage, and so if they can keep pushing forward the way that they have, you might as well. Opening up this base might be a little difficult though. I mean, you've got good defense, got a lot of nice AoE abilities on Alec Club. It's the willingness to step up and use them that you're going to be more or less tested on. And so that's where my eyes are at for them. And I don't mind this, right? Soft defenses at the tier 2s. Hard defenses at the Phoenixes. You're up against a team with Fire Giant. You know better than to get too crazy over here. And admittedly, you're going to be a lot further behind in gold. That's going to be a problem, but you also aren't losing the game this way, which is probably the bigger deal.
Swiss stage, so also, you know, regardless of how this game goes, plenty more left for both these teams to play in the Swiss bracket. So it's definitely, I think, one of those things of, all right, let's see what we can do. As you said, Gore, play for the Phoenixes. Let's see what we can do. Let's put our best foot forward, but not kind of let this get in our head. Just play to the opportunities we receive. And if that opportunity is only to defend, you know, play that game of Space Invaders, and it is what it is. We'll have to make that work. I guess the biggest problem, and I'm sure you're seeing the same thing, as those towers have gone down, wisely Secret Service was grabbing the jungle through it, and the only farm that Alec Club has been left with, aside from the chalk split pushing in duo, are those back camps. That doesn't give a lot to a whole team.
No, and honestly, it's not even going to give a lot to one person who grabs it. I mean, you really are playing catch-up, and unfortunately for very specifically level 100 Behemoth, we got to talk about level deficits in game 1, but now 5 down for the chalk. Fighting your way back into this is going to be difficult. Like, there's no way to gloss over that. Your best bets are probably on Zerg just because of the level and Aztec. Thok can be included in that, but a little behind on build because the gold hasn't been going. So you really are in a spot where split push the way they have, side farm, you know, admittedly, like you said, without the jungle available, you're still hurting in that regard. So, I mean, I think even if Secret Service take it slow, I don't know if you can go for the next Fire Giant. I think you lose a fight unless you can find somebody alone. If you find them isolated, you can get a good pick, but I see a roaming death ball on both sides, and one of them is a lot stronger, bigger, and deadlier than the other.
And even if you do walk up, if you do make an attempt at that fire, Anubis just says, hey, remember me? I own Ferris. Pursue the weak coming out for Aztec. Dazzling Offensive is the instantaneous response. Aztec, though, I mean, damage done. A World Weaver 2. There's the root. It was just a matter of time in that instance. Another death for the sole laner of Alec Club, and those chances of making any type of Hail Mary defense, should you even want to consider it, without the Amaterasu, you have to assume there is now none, and you must concede.
This is a team that I've seen Alec Club in game 1 where they were able to find some interesting positions to fight back from. The problem is, and I actually like this, right? Because there's a little bit of time. You can't go for the Fire Giant, so I like the idea of pushing down the tower. Get some gold. Just anything to help finish up some of the next tier items to get another power spike for your team. Is it going to help even up this game? Not really. I mean, yeah, it's a step in the right direction, but like in the grand scheme, your power spikes are going to still be very far behind Secret Service. But you know what it is doing? And in an ideal world, especially if you get this tier 2, It's opening up a win condition for you. It's opening up the ability potential for Thok to get like a Deathbringer and to get some extra damage online to really provide the fight potential. They're starting to look toward the Phoenix. Meanwhile, Secret Service are still stuck on FG.
Taking some time to do it. This is a very smart Typhoon to clear the way from NMR. Will deal with an ultimate from Chalk, but it was tanking the Phoenix. And now we'll just turn around and take the kill. I understand the play from Alec Club, but no matter how many Chalks you throw at them, it seems like Secret Service are unfazed, and you may just be throwing away the game at this point if you cannot get away from this fight.
This is something, well, you're going down. It's definitely changing the tone of this fight pretty heavily. 2, it's about to be 3. I'm sorry, Thok, but I don't believe too heavily in you. Now you're in a precarious spot. Gone for 30 seconds for 2 members. 15 back for your level 16 Shock, who's trailing by 4 members. Aztec is lucky to not get caught out. I'm kind of surprised with how slow Secret Service are taking this push. It feels like they could get very aggressive very quick, but they're grabbing minion waves, making sure to move up. They're being methodical about it. And unfortunately for Alec Hate Club, that does mean that they are not only further ahead, but it also means they're probably going to get this done in a very clean and concise manner.
I heard Speak say it 100 times in Cast with you, Gore. Death by 1,000 cuts. But in this case, 20,000 cuts of gold. There's the pick. NMR takes out Behemoth. Should be more to be had. Alec Club will retreat back into the fountain. Really all they can do at this point. A big time ultimate does come out from Ferris. Finds a lot. Typhoon forward. Damage continuing to drop. Cosmic Vibe should be soon. Aztec can barely step away. World Weaver hits a Heart Slash on the money as well. I mean, at this point, you can kill them where they stand. And Ion Ferris will do just that with Skunk to handle Zerg. There's a last one, and it's a pull back onto Aztec. And Secret Service will 2-0 Alec Hate Club. Game 2 with authority. And move on in the Swiss bracket.
First off, watching both of these teams with interest as the weeks go on, because I think they showed something in these matches that really spoke of capabilities, right? And it's unfortunate for Alec Hate Club that they fall, but I do think that this is a team that has a lot of promise, and I can say the same for Secret Service, just without the fall part, right? They're successful and they show a lot of promise. So both of them I'm really excited to watch throughout the Swiss. So it is, I mean, it's just fantastic all around, right? You get ahead, you play with the lead really well, you're able to control the map incredibly well. Like, those are things, like, if you're going to be a team that is in the lead and trying to make it to Vegas, like, you have to be able to do that, right? You have to be able to find the lead. You have to be able to fight with the lead. And I will give, and this is where the credit for Alec Hate Club comes in, you also have to be able to fight back from a deficit. And they, in game 2, maybe didn't do it as strong, but in game 1 was very, very solid.
You need some fight. You need some grit.
Yeah, and admittedly, their draft for game 2 didn't really lend its, like that's a draft that if it falls behind, it kind of falls apart. And so unfortunately for them, they weren't able to fight too much back, but they still were able to do a lot. And also, if you're keeping counter specifically for the Ferris versus Ion Ferris, I think we had given it 1-0 to Ion Ferris. We can now call it 1-1 because
1-1 for sure.
Real good that game.
Real good. That's definitely a 1-1. That's gonna be fun to keep track of as we get through the Swiss bracket of seeing who truly owns Ferris at that point. I mean, at the end, they have to switch names. Like, I'm now Ferris. I used to be Ferris, type of thing. We'll workshop for sure. But a big time performance from the Mordred. The damage shows a lot, but almost more so to me, whenever you see that damage mitigated sort of eclipsing the damage taken, it just shows that you couldn't get the Mordred off of somebody on Alec Hate Club. If the Mordred said, hey, I feel like killing a Jing Wei, everybody's just nodding. Okay. We follow.
It's again, yeah, teams that are just going to be ideally fun to watch as weeks come up. And so I expect to hear their names a couple more times, especially as we transition. You know, week 2, it'll be interesting because there's a lot of 1-0 matches, 0-1 matches, because that's the only place you can be. But in week 2 or 3 and 4, like when you start having like your 1-1s, your 2-0s, your 0-2s, like elimination games, promo games, things like that, all on the line. I'm wondering if these teams will be coming up, and I guess for some of them in the ideal way, in a good way, not in a bad way.
That's a very valid point of it. There's certainly a lot to be had, and we'll say it a million more times of how much teams will grow. And I do think that the teams that take losses like this, or even wins like this, that actually go back and review that tape, can get a step ahead of their opponents the further we move through the bracket. And let's take a look at that bracket too, get an idea of where we're at, where we are going, and you can see going forward that this is going to be a exciting second part of it. So the way Swiss's work, as you can tell, Swiss brackets, you face somebody with the same record as yourself, and that sets us up for some incredible games. The one that instantly, there's two that jump out at me for NA: Food Drive for Globe and Scrumptious.
Yep.
Food Drive for Globe has been, I know you've heard me yapping about it since quite literally my first day on the job. That might be a sleeper team that outperforms all expectations, and they get a chance to prove it against Scrumptious. And then 5Ms and Borscht as well, Gore. A pretty anticipated one there for sure.
Yeah, I'm a little early on this because our meeting for it isn't for a few days, but I'm expecting Food Drive for Globe, Scrumptious, team name but with 5Ms and Borscht to probably be the highest on the list of, yes, we should watch these. I also think that there's maybe a couple down at the bottom. Like, we didn't really get to see Fun Havers. Don't know how their matchup versus first name Zach will be, so that's one to maybe kind of keep our eye on. Employment Larpers as well, another one to maybe kind of keep our eyes forward with. But very specifically, that match 9, match 12 on that graphic, they're probably going to be some of the closer and stronger sets to watch next week. And definitely your do not misses.
Oh, definitely do not misses. And, you know, of course, shout out to the EMEA portion of the bracket that we saw both this morning, yesterday, a weekend full of Swiss. Don't forget all the other regions going on as well. You can check out that all on Smite Too Long Didn't Watch this upcoming week. There is more Smite esports than most people know what to deal with right now. And that's for the best. I know that we both love that it's back and that we have so much of it, but that's going to do it for today. I'm Mal. I've had Gore Miser with me. A shout out and a thank you to the whole team that made it happen. And until the next time, be safe and we'll see you soon.
Made in Georgia.